Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where if a puzzle has generated faster positive feedback than the one we're going to be trying today, I'm not sure I can think of its name. The puzzle on the screen is called Shenanigans, and it's by Jay Dyer, who, if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, you will know is one of the world's greatest constructors, and she's come up with an absolutely remarkable rule set that has generated about 10 emails literally overnight saying this simply has to appear on Cracking the Cryptic. This is such an amazing puzzle. It's got a 100% rating on Logic Masters Germany, and I think it only came out yesterday. So Jay has worked her magic again, and I will read you these extraordinary rules. I mean, on the face of it, we look at this puzzle, we can see what looks like some German whispers lines, some renban lines, and some equal sum lines. I will tell you, all is not as it appears to be, for reasons that will become clear. But we'll have a look at this in a moment or two. I've just got a few birthdays to do first, so I'll start with Mark, who has turned 59 today, I think, over there in California. Now, Mark's name is Mark van der Wetering. But apparently, Mark is not related to Ard van der Wetering. Ard, of course, being another superb Sudoku constructor who's featured in a lot of our videos. I don't know if there is some long-lost family connection there, Mark. But anyway, your wife Carmen wrote to us and said you'd appreciate a shout-out. And I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day today with chocolate cake in one of my favourite places in the world. Now, next birthday, Axel. Axel, you've turned the big 3-0 today over there in Sweden. And I know this because your partner Saga wrote to us and said you'd appreciate a shout out. So Axel, I hope you have a brilliant day as well. And then finally, Darcy. Darcy has been with us since the Miracle Sudoku. And I think Darcy turns 52 today. Darcy described his age as being old enough to play with a full deck. Now I guess that means 52 because there are 52 playing cards, but I could be wrong. Darcy also supplied a haiku for all those people who have birthdays today, and I will read it because it made me laugh. Happy birthday time. Now blow out all the candles. Please try not to spit. Very good advice. And done in that 5 syllables, 7 syllables, then 5 syllables rhythm that, of course, a haiku sort of requires. Very, very good. And Darcy, have a brilliant day. The only other thing to mention is what's going on Patreon. DiMono's novel/Sudoku hunt. You are loving it with good reason. Go and read about Mark and Simon and their adventures in the Jewels of Osiris. It's worth doing. I guarantee it. And we've got some more bonus stuff coming up for you on Patreon. Those of you who have kids who you're trying to get into Sudoku or who might be into Sudoku, we have a special kids Sudoku hunt coming very soon from Panthera the Asylum, amongst others. Look out for that. Coming in the next few days. But now I'll read you the rules of Shenanigans and see what Jay Dyer has in store for us. These are those rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. On renban lines, brackets purple, digits on the line cannot repeat and form a set of consecutive digits in some order. So if this square here was a 1, trying to make that a 1, and it did a colour. If this square here is a 1, then this line would have to contain 1, 2, 3 so that the digits were consecutive, but we can mix up the digits. They don't have to be in any particular order. That's how purple lines work. On German whisper lines, brackets green, adjacent digits differ by at least 5. So if this square here is a 1, this square here could be a 6, 7, 8 or 9. What it couldn't be is a 5, because 1 and 5 are only 4 apart, not the required 5 apart. On region sum lines, blue, each time the line passes through a 3x3 region, the sum of the digits on the line is the same. So what that's telling us is that those 2 digits there, you would add up these 2 digits because the line passes through box 6 in these 2 positions. So those 2 cells should equal the sum of these cells here, which are the cells that this line occupies in box 9. So those two cells, let's say they added up to 10, yeah, then these could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and they would also add up to 10, and that would make the world work. Now hang on, I've just remembered I was about to restart the puzzle there. My clock says 0, and it's not going up, so I'm going to click play on my clock. Let's reset the puzzle. Yes, my clock is going up today, so maybe I will complete the puzzle in more than 0 hours, 0 seconds. Anyway, I haven't finished the rules, and the rules are about to get nuts. So, each line is exactly one of the above constraint types, but some have been drawn in the wrong colour. The wrong coloured lines are exactly those lines which have the digit D on them. D must be determined by the solver. D for determined. Right, so the colours in the grid that these lines are completely and utterly misleading, I think. Well, no, I suppose if... Well, I've no idea. I haven't got my head around what this means at all. But basically, some of these lines are not what they appear to be. I think we can say that with some certainty. Jay has been up to Shenanigans. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video, as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I'm delighted to see several lines in the grid that I can describe with... This is a lollipop, quite clearly. This is a deep fat fryer. This is a... what's that? A chimney stack or a top hat? That's a top hat, I think. This, I'm not sure. That looks like a stein of beer that's been tipped on its side. Anyway, this is not helping me to solve the puzzle, is it? So how do we do this? We know that... Well, what do we know? We know virtually nothing. I think what we're going to have to do is find... There's going to be some lines in this puzzle that can only be one type of thing. That must presumably be true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, is that 9? Yeah, this line is 9 cells. This might be where we want to start. Now, this line, this line, I know it's green, but I'm actually going to say something else. It's not a renban line. I.e., it's not a purple line. I know it doesn't look purple, but it could have been drawn in the wrong colour. Now, if this was a purple line, it would be all the digits 1 to 9, once each. But then, where would those cells go in this box? Those 4 digits couldn't repeat on the line, because the line needs to be a consecutive set of non-repeating digits. So this cell wouldn't even be a Schrödinger cell. It's definitely not a Schrödinger cell, definitely not a Schrödinger cell. It would have to be a... I can't even say that, but a cell that had 4 different personalities all at the same time, and that won't work. So this line is not a renban line. I don't think it... Oh, it can. Ah, you bobbins, but bobbins face. I was about to say it can't be a region sum line, but it can be, because the reason I thought it couldn't be is the minimum sum of these cells would be 15 if we made them 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. But I can make that domino add up to 15. Let's make it 6, 9, say. And I can make that domino add up to a 15 in a different way. Oh, no, this is fine. This doesn't work either. Right. So although this does work, in theory, look, with something like this, because I can make these 15s different sums, and the maximum that 4 digits can be is 15, so it does work just. It reaches equilibrium just. But there's still a Sudoku problem now. And it is outrageous I'm being made to do Sudoku a mere 9 minutes into this video. But where it's exactly the same problem as the renbans now. Where do these 4 digits go in this box? We can't put them on the lines for many reasons. But that they'd all have to go in there. And if we did try and put one of them on the line, the other 4 digits would add up to at least 10, because they'd have to be at least 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that won't work because you can't write 10 into any of these cells. So this totally breaks, and that is really, really interesting. and slightly surprising, because it means that this line is a green line. And it is, I know it looks like a green line, but it is actually a green line. Now, I'm tempted actually, I wonder if this will work. Can I actually, I can, look. I'm going to go over it in green to re-emphasise its greenliness, its eco-credentials. This is a properly green line. And therefore, therefore we can go through some of the secrets of green lines. There's got to be a 5 on this renban. It might not be a renban line. The lollipop's got a 5 on it. Right, so what are the secrets I know about green lines? There are basically 3 secrets. Secret number 1 is you can't put 5 on a green line, because if you do, the adjacent digit becomes impossible within the realms of Sudoku, because it has to be 5 different at least from 5. If we go upwards, we get to 10, which is not a valid Sudoku digit. If we go downwards, we get to 0, not a valid Sudoku digit. So, and anything more extreme than that is just getting more and more ludicrous. So we can't put 5s on the lines. Now, the other thing is that means we can define every cell on this line as either below 5 or above 5. And the interesting thing is, if you take any domino along the line, you'll find you get one of each. One digit will be lower than 5, the next digit will be higher than 5. And then the next digit will be lower than 5 again. So you'll get oscillation. We call it oscillating polarity along the line. And that typically means that what you have to do is to shade the line. So let's do that. We'll shade the line. So for example, we now know that these 3 digits here are from the same population. So they're either all high digits, so they're from the collection 6, 7, 8, and 9, or they're all low digits, so they're from the collection 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the third secret about green lines is that 4 and 6 are the hardest digits to place on green lines, because they are the most monogamous digits. They only have one partner. So a 4 can only be partnered with a 9, and a 6 can only be partnered with a 1. I've had a different thought. And this is because I can't see anything I can do with this. Right, where is the digit D? Oh, in fact, maybe this is the point. Maybe D is going to be 5, because the digit D defines which lines are telling fibs. And this line, we've discovered, was presented to us as green and is green. So it does not have D on it. So D in box 2 is in one of those cells. D for, what was D for? Determined or something. I don't know. D is for didgeridoo. I'm not sure what it's for. But D is in one of those cells, which... So surely that means this line... Oh, this is really cute, actually. This is really cute. So, this line has a D on it, which means it's not allowed to be itself. So it's not allowed to be a renban. Now, we know that 5 isn't allowed to be on this. So 5 is in one of these squares. So, if this was a green line, it would then have a 5 on it, which would be impossible. So it's not a green line. So this line, the lollipop line, is a blue line. I know it doesn't look blue, but it is blue. Now, how do I draw a blue line? Let's draw a blue line. Is that going to show? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. So what we're now being told is that these 2 digits sum to these 4 digits, one of which is a 5. Okay, so now this is... I love this. I love this already. This puzzle is just... It's just Jay Dyer. This puzzle is just the adjective Jay Dyer. Because I now know the parity or the polarity of the whispers line, don't I? Because these 3 digits are of some polarity. Now, if these were low digits, then the grey digits would both be high numbers, but there would then be two more high numbers, whichever were not used in here, would be on this lollipop. And that would mean that the minimum sum of the lollipop would be 5 plus 6 and 7, which are the 2 lowest high digits we could include. Now 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus plus whatever digit is not in orange, which could be a 1, is 19. I can't make a domino add up to 19 in Sudoku. So that tells us that the orange line, the orange digits are the high digits. They are, I'm on letters at the moment, I want to be on numbers. They are 6, 7, 8 and 9. That can't be 6, because it would have to be surrounded by its monogamous partner of 1 twice, and there would be 2 1s in box 2. So there is 1 high digit on here. These 2 digits are from 1, 2, 3 and 4. These 2 can't be 4. Which means, because 4 is monogamous, it would have to be next to 9 on both sides. That means that the low digit, well, one of the low digits on this line is now 4. So it's got 4, 5. Oh, these could be 6. Yes, okay. Often you can't put the 6 in the middle of a whispers line, because you get into the monogamous problem. But these can be 6 because those 2 digits don't see each other, so they could both be 1. But we know the minimum sum of the lollipop now, or the top of the lollipop, is 4, 5 plus 6, which can be the high digit, plus 1, which can be the other low digit, which is 16. So these squares add up to at least 16. So they absolutely definitely include a 9, which means that square is not a 9. And that must mean, so I've got a 7, 8, 9 triple in this column now. Now, what can we do with that? Maybe if I extend the logic 1, 2, 3 and 4 into those squares, because these have to be low polarity. These have to be high polarity, 6, 7, 8 or 9. Oh. Oh. Can we... Sorry, I'm not, I haven't figured this out at all. So I've got to put, right, I've got 1 low digit on here, but I've got to put 1 more low digit on here, which can't, oh, maybe, if I put 3 on then, 4, 5, 6 and 3 is too many. Right, okay. So this, yeah, this does it again. Right, this does it again. Okay. So then the question is the following. I know there is 1 high digit, i.e. one of the digits 6, 7, 8, 9 is on the top of the lollipop. Let's imagine it's 6. So then we know the lollipop has got 4, 5, 6 on it, and it's got 1 more low digit. Could that digit be a 3? No, because that would give me 4, 5, 6, which is 15, plus 3, which is 18. I can't make these add up to 18. They both have to be 9. So 3 in this box is in one of those 2 positions. I don't know which one, but I know it's always adjacent to this square, which means this square cannot be a 7 because 3 and 7 are not 5 apart. So that square is an 8, which means these squares are not 8, and these are a 7, 9 pair adding up to 16, which means these squares, which include D, don't forget, are 4, 5, 6 and 1. But it's the only way we can make them add up to 16. So these squares are not 6, these squares are not 1, this is just absolutely ridiculous. These squares are now a 7, 9 pair, and there we must pause and think again. Hang on. hang on. What does this mean? So I've got 1, 4. I know that the naughty digit now, the D digit, is 1, 4, 5, or 6. No. I don't know how to do that. I'm sorry. I can't see how to know which of these is the naughty digit. Okay. So the frying pan? Or the deep fat fryer? Can we do something with this? If the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what do we know about this line? We know it might be telling us lies, don't we? So if it's telling us lies, well, okay. If it's telling us lies, it's not an equal sum line. Because to be an equal sum line, this cell would have to add up to those 5 digits, and that won't work. So can it be a whisper, is presumably the question. Now, if it's a whisper, that digit is low. No, that doesn't work. Ah, right. So this is actually, this line looks what it is. Yeah, okay. So let me just explain the whisper thinking. If this is a whisper line, we know it oscillates polarity. So let's just shade in some cells. We'll do those in red and we'll do these in yellow. Now, what is this cell? Well, this cell sees 7, 8 and 9. So if this is a high digit, it has to be 6 on the whisper, but 6 is monogamous, so it would have to go with 1 on both sides. That doesn't work. In other words, this has to be low, but now these 2 digits have to be high and can't be 7 and 9. In other words, they are a 6-8 pair, but 6 can't go in either of those squares because 6 is also monogamous, and that would put too many partners for the 6. It would have 2 1s there or 2 1s there, and that's very much against the 6's nature. So we need to unwind all this nonsense because it's not true. This line is a genuine purple line, which means I can do that. I can't really see that, but it is a genuine line. So it's a genuine renban line, but it mustn't therefore have D on it. And this line, right, so is that telling me that D is in one of those cells? I'm getting confused now. D in this box I know is in one of those cells. Actually, I'm going to relabel that so I remember that. D is in one of these cells. So D is making... So D is not the same as these 2 cells because these can't. D is a 1, 4, 5 or 6. Now this being a correctly coloured line, it cannot have D on it. Those are not D, so D is in one of those squares. So D is either rendering this green line wrong or D is here. Ah, that's sick. Right, D is 1. D is 1 for the most beautiful reason. Because the deep fat fryer is 6 cells long. And what else would a deep fat fryer be? And okay, let's think about the stripe of digits. Let's lay the digits 1 to 9 out before our very eyes and slice 6 consecutive digits from there. If we start with the lowest number, 1, we would hit 6. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we start with the highest number, we hit 4, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So this line has 4, 5 and 6 on it somewhere. We don't know where. But D sees the whole of this line, because this cell is seen by D in one of those positions, and all of these cells are seen by D. So D cannot be 4, 5 or 6. So D is 1, and there is a 1 in one of those squares. And that, I don't know what, well, okay, I can see one thing that does. That means this line can't have 1 on it, doesn't it? Because if the green line up here had 1 on it, it would be made not its own colour. So these can't be 6 now. That's done absolutely nothing. Right, so what's going on in this box then? We've got 1 in one of these two squares, which is now not allowed to be on the renban. So that's a 7. This, honestly, this is close to magical. It is just beautiful. Again, because this is a 6-cell line that hasn't got a 1 on it, we're only selecting 6 of the 8 cells, 2 to 9, and there is no way to select those cells without including a 7. So there is a 7 on the line, but the 7 can't go in these cells because of the 7-9 pair. So the 7 goes there, which means this is 7, this is 9. Right, so 9 is not on the line. 1 is not on the line. Oh, so is it 2 or 8 that's missing? I think. Because we could go 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we could go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, couldn't we? Or we could go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, okay, I don't know. So these two digits now are from 1, 2, and 8. 1 is definitely there, but it depends on what's missing from the line as to whether the missing digit is 2 or 8. 7 by Sudoku is down here. Switch back off letters on this side. Okay. I mean, how? I know. Okay, so I now know D is 1. So is it this one now? I haven't got a clue. I have not got a clue. So if, how does it work then? So if this is a true line, it's not allowed to have 1 on it. So it would be a German whisper. So one of these two digits would have to be a 6. I think that that broke, because doesn't that put a 1 on it? Hang on. Hang on. If 1 is the naughty digit, 1 is the naughty digit. So if this is really a green line, it mustn't have 1 on it. But these two digits would need to have one digit of high polarity, which couldn't be 7, 8 or 9. So there would be a 6 down here, which would have to be monogamous. So it would be next to a 1, thereby rendering this not a green line after all. So this is not a green line, and therefore it does have a 1 on it. And it's got a 1 on it, and it's either a renban line or an equals. Oh, if it's an equal sum line, that looks very tempting, doesn't it? Because we'd be saying those 3 digits add up to this, and those 3 digits add up to this. So we'd know that this was actually 6, 8, or 9. That feels like it's going to be correct. So right, so we've got to disprove that this is a renban line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a 7-cell line. So it must have 7 on it. So that would need to be the 7. For this to be a renban, this has to be a 7. Oh, no, hang on, I've had another thought. It's got 1 on it. So if it's a renban, we actually know it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was thinking it had 7 on it because it had to have 7 on it, you know, whichever side we went from, but it couldn't have 8 or 9 on it. It has to have 1 on it. We don't actually know very much about the D digit though, do we? I don't know. I think all we actually know is that this line is a naughty line. It's not telling us the truth. Should we try this line? If this is a real equal sum line, then that digit is quite a high number because it's got to be the sum of these. Oh, it has to be 9. That must be true. Is that right? Because if this is a real equal sum line 9, it's not allowed to have a 1 on it anymore, which means the minimum sum of those digits is 2 plus 3 plus 4, which add up to 9. So I'd have to write 9 in there. But if it's a naughty line, then I have to put 1 on it somewhere, which would have to be here, because it can't be there by Sudoku. So this would be a 1, and this would... Okay, so then it's not an equal sum line. So these squares are either consecutive with 1, and they're 2, 3, and 4, because it's a renban line, or this is a whisper situation, in which case, if that's a 1, this is 6, 8. That doesn't work, because by putting 6 into one of these on a whisper, I need to put a 1 here always, and that 1 will clash. So either this is a renban, so this is always 2, 3, 4, I think, because either this is rendered a naughty line by a 1 being on it here, in which case it must be a renban and these must be consecutive with 1 and be 2, 3, 4, or it's a real equal sum line, in which case these can only be 2, 3, 4 and add up to 9. So this square is a 1 or a 9, and I don't know the nature of the line still. But that's 2, so there's now no 2 here. So this is a 1, 8 pair, and these squares are 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going full good lift today. Now these squares are a 5, 6 pair. So if we put the 5, but we know the green line's telling us a lie, so we can put the 5 on it. This line's broken. All ends up, isn't it? Hang on. This cannot be right. This is a fibbing line, and that we know that because of the same principle we adopted here. If this is a real equal sum line, the minimum sum of those squares is 9, and that cannot be a 9 because it's a 5 or a 6. So this needs to be something else. And now, oh, well, the other thing, oh, this is gorgeous. It's just simply gorgeous. Right, it's now got to have a 1 on it because it's telling a fib. So those squares are 1 of these 3. That matches up with the 1 that's in one of those 4, and means that square's a 9, which means this one is telling the truth. After all that, it doesn't change the 2, 3, 4 triple, but it does mean that that's telling the truth. Now this one, which is telling a lie because it has a 1 on it, cannot be a renban because it's got a 1 on it. And if it was a renban, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and it wouldn't have a 5 or a 6 on it. So it is a whisper, which means it doesn't have a 5 on it, and that's a 6. And that's a 1. And right, and now we know the polarity of the line. So this square is 2, 3, or 4, and this square is 7, 8, or 9. Or 6, actually, I suppose. Maybe it can be a 6, because these won't see each other. Hang on, it's not 7 or 9, so maybe it is 6. This 1 is plonking a 1 here by Sudoku, so these are not 1. So this is a 4, 5, 6 triple, so this has become a 2, 3 pair. Neither of these are allowed to be 9s anymore. Oh, I see. Look, no, sorry. If that's a 6, that's a 1, and that's impossible. So I don't know what I was thinking there, but whatever it was nonsense. So that becomes 7, which can't go next to 3, so that's a 2-3 pair. The 3 can't go next to a 7 on this connection, so that's a 9, that's a 7. The 3 can't go next to 7 on that connection, so everything gets sorted out. 7 is now off this line. 7 is off the green line. I think that meant something. I can't quite remember what. We're going to come back and look at that in a moment. And this is a 5, right. Oh, but we already knew this was broken, so that's not surprising. But yeah, okay, but now I think we know the nature. Let me just check. Do I know that digit? It's not 4. And it's not 2. I do know that digit, sorry. 2, 3, 8. This is not a 3. Oh, hang on, look, I can do some more things here. This is ruling out 2 from that. That's ruling out 3 from there. Let's remove the 1 and the D, I think. I think we are now very familiar with the fact that D is 1. Okay, and let's come back to the green line, which we knew was lying to us because you couldn't put 1, 6 down here. But now, were this to be a renban, it would have 1 on it, so it would need a 7 on it because it's a 7-cell line. We can't put 7 in any of those, there or there, so it's not a renban. So it is equal sum. It's equal sum, which means this digit is at least a 6. In fact, no, it's not. It's at least an 8. Because this is 5, and if I add 1 and 2 to 5, I get 8. So this is 8 or 9. Okay, let's get off letters again. In fact, that digit is a 1, because it sees a 2, 3 pair. So if this was not 1, it would be at least 4, and 5 plus 4 plus whatever this would be higher than this digit is capable of being. So this is 1, which is the 1 we needed on the naughty line. This digit is 2 or 3 by the power of Sudoku. And these squares add up to 8 or 9. And I'm sure that we can do something with that. I just need to figure out what it is. We don't have to put another 1 down here though, do we? At least I don't think we do. Oh, bother. I don't know. I don't quite know how we do this. If this was a 1, no, I really don't know how we do this. These two squares are at least a 2 plus a 3, which is 5. So this square is a maximum value of 4. And it can't be 2. So this square here is 1, 3 or 4. I don't know. I'm not sure about this one. Let's try this one though, because if that's a 1, it's making this not a whisper. Ah, hang on. Can this actually be a whisper line if 2, 3 and 4 are not available on it in these squares? There'd have to be a 1 in one of those. Oh! Yeah, it's the same it's the same paradox, isn't it? I love this sort of thing. This green line, for it to be telling the truth, requires us to oscillate polarity along it, because it has to be a whisper line. Therefore, there has to be a low digit in one of those two squares. That low digit would be the D digit, thereby saying this is not a whisper. So this is not a whisper. It's either an equal sum line or a renban line. But if it's a renban line, it's got to have 1 on it, because we know there's a 1 somewhere on it to tell the lie, and then it would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 line, and these two squares couldn't be filled because we couldn't put 2, 3 or 4 into any of them. So this square this is an equal sum line. Overzealous use of the word line there, and that can't be a 1, because if it was a 1, that would be a 1, and these two squares would both have to add up to 1, and that's silly. So this is 8. This is 1. We have to put a 1 on the line. It can't go there. That's 8, because these two add up to the same. We need to convert the colour to that in order to make it work, and there's a 1 in one of those squares. So it's a 1-7 pair, and the 7 seems to have to be in this row. So that's 7, that's 1, and this is beautiful. Oh, well, it was nearly beautiful. 1 is up there, which is a very, I mean, that's a very safe place to put a 1. Oh, come, we're not going to get a 3 in the corner at the top because of this 3. This line, oh, this line was equal sum, so we can do it, fill it in. I'm very pleased to do that. So we've got a chance to think about this one. Well, this one can't be a whisper anymore because neither of these squares could be a low digit. If it's a renban, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it would have to have 4, 5, and 6 on it. No. Well, no. If it's a renban, it's the wrong colour, so it actually has to have 1 on it, which means it is 1. It's very specifically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So these would be a 5, 6 pair, and this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. And unfortunately, that looks very possible, doesn't it? Why couldn't this be a 5, 6 pair? 9 would go here. 9 would be in one of those squares. 1 is in one of these 3 positions. Let's have a look at that. Oh dear, I'm getting stuck now. Right, one is down here. Ah. Oh, I see. Oh, right. Let's come. Right. So now I'm going to come back to this line again, because it doesn't appear we can put 1s on the bottom of this line. So this must be a minimum of 2, 3, and 4, which therefore means this is 9. This is great, isn't it? It's just great. So this is a 2, 3, 4 triple. This is 9. I'm sure this does more than I've been able to deduce. Just give me a second or two. Come on. What's this doing? Oh, I can't see. Or can I? Hang on. Yes. 9 and 8. 9 and 8 in this box are a little pair down here by Sudoku. That doesn't do anything. Alright, what are these digits? These digits are 1, 5, 6, 7. But there's still the opportunity to put a 1 on this line. I don't know. I don't know. Do we think it's this one or this one? They're quite remote from one another, so they might be independent. Let's think about this one. Is it possible for this to be a whisper? If this is a whisper, we'd have shading that looked a bit like this, wouldn't we? Now, these two squares, therefore, are either an 8-9 pair, because they couldn't be 6-7 if grey was high, which would have to be very specifically here, 9 and then 8. Or they have to be a 2-4 pair, which would very specifically require this to be 4, this to be 9, this to be 2, this to be 7, I think, and then this to be low. That all looks quite plausible to me. What about, can we disprove it being something else? If it's something else, it has to have a 1 on it, doesn't it? So this would be a 1. It's the only place you can put a 1 on the line. So if it is something else, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Oh, that's so clever! Wow. Right. So the way to get to this line is to ask, can you put a 1 on it to make it lie? And although you can, you run into problems because now by putting the 1 on it, it needs to have a different nature than being green. So one option is it's a renban, but that requires us to put 2, 3, 4 and 5 on it. Well, 3 and 5 can't go there, so that would be Schrodinger, and that doesn't work. Or it's equal sum, which means these two digits, which have a maximum value of 9, if we put 8 here, have to add up to these 3 squares, which can't include a 1 or a 3, so they cannot add up to 9. They're going to break the total. So this is not a 1. And if this is not a 1, this line is whispery of its nature, and therefore we've got to greenify it. And therefore, well, now I'm sure there's a way of getting to this. Okay, look, let's try and do some Sudoku then. 2 and 9 are definitely on this line. Can we do I don't need to do slightly better than that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, can that be 6? No. That's it. That's it. This is the key place. Right. For this to be, for orange to be a high digit, you can see it C, 7, 8, 9. So this would have to be 6, but that would make this 1 and render the line not whispery. So this is low. And if this is low, this is 1, 2, 3 or 4. We know it's not 1. So 2, 3 or 4. It can't be 4 because that would put a 9 here and it would clash. So this is down to 2 or 3 and it can't be 3 by Sudoku. So that's a 2. Right, which means, right, let's actually work this out then. These 2 squares are now high. All those 3 are high. Let's put all the options in and see what we can get rid of. We can get rid of 6 and 7 from these 2. And 8 from this one. So that's 9. That's 8. This square here has to now be 1, 2 or 3. It can only be 2. It can't be 4 because it can't be next to 8 if it's 4. And now I've not put 4 in this box, which goes here. 2 comes out of those squares by our old friend Sudoku. And I want to resolve this middle box somehow, but I can't see how to do that. This digit is not 6 because it can't be next to 2, and it can't be 8, so that's become a 7. So that's not a 7. And I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So this is 5 or 6 because it sees 8. These are 5, 6 or 8. Let's just check this column as well in case Jay has been naughty enough to include Sudoku in her Sudoku puzzle. That's not 1. I don't know actually. 4, 5, 6. There's a 9. Oh, 9. There's a 9 in the corner. That definitely doesn't get a song. So this is 4, 5 or 6 and it's okay, so it's 4 or 5. We've got look. We're heading towards what looks like it's a 3 in the corner down here. How do we prove that? I'm not sure we can prove it yet, but we're going to be on the lookout for it. Okay, so therefore, what do we do? Do we know whether this line is telling us the truth? So for it to be telling us a lie, there would be a 1 in one of those 4 cells. And that would render this either whispery, which it can't be whispery, because neither of those digits can be a low digit. So it's not whispery. So if there is a 1 down here, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is 5, 6. I think I've already looked at this. This would be a 3, 4 as a wasp. Don't attack me, wasp, while I'm doing this. Where does 8 go in this row? In fact, that's an easier question. Look, there's an 8 here, which instantly breaks it. So Sudoku is our friend. Why does 8 instantly break it? Well, it's because if this is telling lies, we've worked out it has to have a 1 on it down here, which renders it a renban because we worked out it couldn't be a whisper, and therefore it's a 6-cell line that needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can't have 8 on it. So so this line is telling us the truth. And it really is a blue line. Now, what does that mean? These digits. Oh, hang on. It's telling us the truth, so it's not got a 1 on it. So these digits add up to at least 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is 14. So this digit is at least a 6. Oh, so it's 6 or 9, I think. The only way this can be a 6. Oh, it's not a... Well, I'll just do Sudoku, actually. It's just a 9. Rather than worrying about it. It's a 9 by Sudoku. Which means these 4 squares add up to 17. These 2 squares are a 5, 6 pair. Which means 2 has to be there, look, in this row. Weirdly, that doesn't... Oh, I've not even thought about this line either. Which is close to needing a 9 on it. Hang on. Hang on. Can I really... Can I really put 9 here? No. Oh, that's so sick. That's sick. Oh, it's lovely. Right. If you put 9 here, because this is a real equal sum line, those 9s cancel out. And this 8 has to be made up of those 3 digits, which requires one of them to be a 1, because it would have to be 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4, rendering the line not a truth-telling line, which we know it is. So that is not 9. So this is 9. And that's making me think about what on earth is this line, which is meant to be a renban. Well, it can't be because it can't have 8 on it. So it needs a 1 on it. So that's not a 1. And now, right, so now it is a... Okay, so it's a lying line. And these 2 digits could add up to 9, but they don't seem to be able to because it can't be 1 and 8. So it is a whisper line, which means this digit is low. And it can't be there 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's the 1, and that's the 6, which is the only way that can possibly work. That's again, it's absolutely remarkable. Right, so this, right, look what's going on in this row now. 1 and 6 are a pair here. I'm sure we can do that somehow, just can't work out how to do it. Right, and the other thing is that this line needs to turn green. That's not very clear, but hopefully you get the idea. This 9 is doing some work, isn't it? So that becomes a 9, that becomes an 8, that becomes an 8. This 1 means this becomes a 1. Hang on a sec. Have we... Well, I don't quite yet know how to finish this off. I think we're closing in on a solution though. What about 7? Oh, yeah, there's a 7 down here. Hang on, I know the sum of those digits as well, so we could use the secret here. Well, the secret is something I only normally tell my very favourite people, but if you're watching this after 54 minutes, you're definitely one of my favourite people. So I'm going to tell you the secret. The secret is that any complete box of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9 once each because of the rules of Sudoku, and therefore adds up to 45. Now, those squares add up to 24, and these squares add up to 17. which seems to give me 41, which means that these two squares must add up to 4, and therefore that doesn't seem to me to be able to be a 6. That's got to be a 1. In fact, the other way we could have got that is by remembering that we can't put 1 on the line, because that would render this line lying, which it's not allowed to be. So we worked out that was 3, didn't we? So these squares now add up to 11, and they're 2, 4 and 5, and that makes sense. Right, but okay, so this is not a 3. Hang on. Hang on, this must now, okay, we got a 1 up here. This is not a 3. So we've got 2, 4 and 5 to place in this column. I've got a horrible feeling we're about to be struck with the curse of Sudoku. 5 is in one of those two cells in this row. So 5 is not there. So I've got a 2, 4 pair in this column. Aha, 5 goes here. 4 goes here. 6 goes here. 5 goes here. No! No. Okay, I thought I was going to get 3 in the corner, but no, I didn't. I might have made an error. 6, 4... 2, 4, 2, 3 apparently. I'm just sort of doing Sudoku here, of all things. That's a 4, 5 pair. That should be a 3 by the looks of the world. That's a 4 then. So we can take 4 out of these squares. That seems to be a 5, 6 pair, so that becomes a 3. 7, look, is done in this row. So 7 and 5 go in. 6 comes out of here, so 6 comes out of here, and we get left with a chocolate teapot triple there. We might need some help from this box perhaps. Let's see. 4 and 7, we can do that. So 7, 4, yeah, 4, 5, 5, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 4, 5, 2 and 6. That is just spectacular. That is spectacular. What a brilliant puzzle, Jay. And thank you to all those of you who sent us in this direction so quickly, because it is quite simply a work of art. This line is not coloured and is a whisper. I just spotted that. People would have been getting cross if I'd left that unadulterated when it clearly needed to be adulterated. I mean, I cannot tell you how much that rule set is, how brilliantly it worked. I mean, it's just magical that you can work out the digit that's the naughty digit, and then it does so much for you in disambiguating lines. That, I'm telling you this, is one of my favourite Sudoku puzzles I have done in my life. If there is one puzzle that you give your friends to demonstrate how amazing variant Sudoku can be, this one needs to be high up on your list. Shenanigans indeed. Absolutely loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.